welcome back to episode 58, guys, of my F1 2016 Toro Rosso career mode here for the Canadian Grand Prix. Now, Canada, the track, is probably one of my best on this game. I've had the lap record around here on time trial, so, hoping that I can be very, very confident here, guys. But, if you did not check out last episode, guys, I would highly recommend doing so. There has been a bit of a break between last episode and this one, guys. Unfortunately, I just haven't been able to get the time in to record this episode of the career mode, guys. But as you can see, currently we are leading the championship by 10 points over Lewis Hamilton, 15 over Sebastian Vettel as well. So, it's looking very, very strong at the moment, guys. And if you are new around here, you want to be subscribed, ready for the rest of this career mode as well. But as I said, guys, Canada, a track that, I feel very, very confident around, hoping this weekend that maybe I could get back-to-back wins in this career mode. Obviously, we took my first win last week out at Monaco, guys. So, hoping that today, we can solidify back-to-back wins in this career mode. And, give myself an even better lead in the championship. If we come first and Lewis Hamilton comes second, we've basically near enough got a second-place advantage to him overall. So, a one-race advantage is kind of really ideal in the career mode, based on how well it's been going at the moment, guys. We could just see there, we've been given a 400 R&D bonus there from the sponsors, so very, very useful that will be in this next upcoming races, because, we've got quite a few R&D points at the moment, but we still really need to focus on developing this car as much as we can. I think currently we're ranked the 4th best car at the moment. It might be even 3rd, if I'm not mistaken. I know we're behind Mercedes and Red Bull, and I think we're around about the same level as Ferrari at the moment, so, that 400 R&D points may be able to project us ahead of Red Bull in this career mode, guys. That would be very, very interesting to have a better car than the Red Bull, sort of the top team, if you will. But Chris has also got an upgrade for us that we put on the car at the end of the Monaco Grand Prix, guys. So, that would be very, very helpful. And I think we went with the downforce monkey seat there, we level 2 of the 5th upgrade stage there. And as you can see, we get an extra, near enough 2% extra downforce there. So, that'll be very, very useful in these upcoming races. Obviously, if you can see Sauber there going for a double upgrade as well as Force India there. So, a lot of teams on the break from Europe here coming in with quite a few upgrades for the cars. So, it will be very, very interesting. We can just see there at the top right-hand side here, we've got just over 700 R&D points here. So, having a look at the upgrades, we could potentially go with a redesigned brake ducts there. But, I wasn't really too worried about that. I really was tempted to focus on the fuel economy here. But, fuel, I'm fairly good at saving on this game. So, I wasn't going to worry about that too much. That'll probably be the last upgrades to go on the car. But come around to the end of my track acclimatization lap, and we do go purple there. A very, very easy time. These really not too much to worry about now. They're basically just free R&D now. Not really too much of a struggle for me in this career mode, guys. But now moving on to my qualifying simulation lap. And unfortunately, we only go green there. Did make a little bit of a mistake on my laps, I wasn't too worried about that, with the R&D overall there. We got 117 bonus points, taking me up to 835 there in the end, so, very, very happy with that. We're getting close to having another upgrade for the cars. You can just see having a look once again. And I think what we'll probably do is focus on the chassis weight here, because, this car, it still does sometimes struggle with the turning, guys. But let's move on then into qualifying, straight away into Q1 here. I wasn't too worried. Obviously, we should be able to easily get through Q1 here. We haven't really had to worry about getting at Q1. I'm pretty certain since USA last season, guys. But coming around into the final chicane there, taking a lot of curb on the exit there. Going very, very aggressively, but down towards the line now. And it should be provisional pole in this first session. Yes, it is. And very, very happy with that. But by the end of the session there, Nico Hülkenberg, rather surprisingly, did edge me out there, so, by just under 600ths of a second there. So he can be very, very happy with that. The Force India, very, very strong around this circuit. But having a look down the bottom of the grid there, and Sebastian Vettel being the only real big surprise there, getting knocked out of Q1 there on his set of super soft tyres there. Not really too sure why he gambled that particularly, because, he won't gain any advantage in the race from using that set of tyres there. But, Sebastian Vettel really just knobbing up his strategy there. Already, he's in the championship fight at the moment, and that has completely ruined his chance. Well, near enough ruined his chances for a good result at this Canadian Grand Prix. But if we see a couple of well-timed safety cars for him, maybe, he might be able to cut his way back through the field here. But now moving on to Q2 here, and I actually opted to go on a set of the super soft tyres. And unfortunately, throughout most of this lap, we were held up by Daniel Ricciardo. He was actually on his out lap at this stage. So, very, very annoyed, that he didn't move aside. We tried going down the inside into the final chicane there, but he just shuts the door, knobs up my run through the final chicane there. Not exactly happy with Daniel Ricciardo after that one. And coming towards the line there, we do manage to go up into P3 there. Without thinking, I thought, that's good enough to get us into Q3 there. So we decided, we retire from the session. And as you can see now, that was definitely a mistake for us to make there. P14 in qualifying. Now, I didn't even think that, we'd struggle to get into Q3 there, so my complacentness, if that's even a word, has really let me down there. Daniel Ricciardo and Max Verstappen lock at the front row there, with the Haas locking at the second row there, so very, very good for the American team here at the Canadian Grand Prix. But fortunately for me, though, Lewis Hamilton also managed to ruin his Q2 run there, and is just one position ahead of me. He's my main championship rival at the moment. He's looking to defend his World Championship here. So, hoping that I can obviously stop him in the latter stages of the season there. But P14, not exactly what we wanted for the Canadian Grand Prix there. But, we're going to have to focus on, try and push on through this race, hoping that if, we do, for example, get the rain like we saw last time, we may be able to challenge the top guys there. But another 45 R&D points for myself. Still looking very, very good in the career rivalry, and also as the first driver at Toro Rosso there. But, let's move on then into the Canadian Grand Prix. So Canada, a very, very interesting track. Well, as I keep saying, guys, one that I feel very, very strong at. And, if it is raining, like I think we did see that on the preview, we should be able to look for a very, very strong position in this race. And yes, it is. I'm not too sure whether that's intermediates or full wet conditions, though I think it might be just on the verge. But Nico Rosberg took the pole ahead of both Red Bulls there. Fernando Alonso once again showing his wet weather pace in that McLaren Honda up in P4 there, with Esteban Gutierrez and Romain Grosjean 6th and 7th there, sandwiched between the Force India cars. My teammate Danny Kvyat and Marcus Ericsson round out the final Q3 slots there. But you can just see Lewis Hamilton and myself there on row 7. Felipe Massa and Valtteri Bottas having a very, very poor qualifying. I mean, nothing can compare to Sebastian Vettel down in P19 there. What can he do in this Grand Prix here today? It's going to be very, very interesting to see what different strategies different people roll with today in this Grand Prix. It should be very, very exciting when we got a lot of drivers having to cut their way through the field against a lot of these slower cars here. But I'm going to look at the race strategy as well, and it starts off very, very wet, gets slightly drier there, gets completely dry, and actually gets a little bit more sunny as we get to the end of the race this. It's just a fully drying out race there. Not as crazy as we saw at Russia, guys, but I thought, we'll have a look, see if the intermediate tyres are very good there. But I did end up thinking better off without it. It's going to be a risk, too much to take at this early stages. But, I might make a risk during the race here. Canada's always a track that can throw up surprises, As David Croft usually talks about Canada 2011, obviously that one race that sticks in everyone's mind. But, we're going to stick with the wet tyres there. And let's move on then into the Canadian Grand Prix. It's 1 light, 2 lights, 3 lights, 4 lights, 5 lights. And away we go for the Canadian Grand Prix there in the end. Charlie really not wanting to take out those lights. But coming down towards turn 1 there, we get a very, very good run on Lewis Hamilton there. All going very, very sideways. Kimi Räikkönen squeezes Hamilton into me there, which has nearly put me in the wall there. Somehow I managed to keep it out of the wall. And we're going to have to rejoin, completely cutting that first hairpin. Probably actually more ideal for me, as I will avoid the carnage there. We do get a couple of illegal overtakes, but we're going to give back those positions there as you can see. But let's just have a look then, if we can see what happened at the start line there. But unfortunately we cannot, as we'll have a look at the replays there. As you can just see myself in the grass there. Fortunately we managed to avoid all the commotion that probably went on down towards turn 1 there. And just having to re-enter the track there, I'm having to go so slowly, trying to avoid all the other cars there. But, we managed to get back on, avoid any damage from any other cars there. So, still a alright start, I guess, there, as we now try and go around the outside of Felipe Massa through the first chicane there. But, not really too sure what Hamilton was doing there. I think he just got squeezed by Räikkönen. But now we're going to go down the inside of Lewis Hamilton and Jenson Button there. We lost the back end and somehow managed to make the move from that. So, very, very happy with that. And now up into P12 we go now. So we have actually made a couple of positions on this opening lap of this Grand Prix. But it was heavy wet conditions. We should have some very, very good pace over the AI if Monaco's anything to go by. We have a look round the outside of Kimi Räikkönen there, make a little bit of contact with his rear wheel, and we now move up the inside of my teammate Danny Kvyat there as he gets held up behind Marcus Ericsson there. We go up the inside of Ericsson into the hairpin there. Are we going to be able to make the move stick? He tries to defend from me, and we have to downshift down into second gear there, and now it's a drag race out of the hairpin there, but we do get better traction than him, and we now move up into P9 there, so another 3 positions made up on this opening lap. We cannot not exactly complain about that in this opening lap of the Canadian Grand Prix. But now moving on then further on to the end of lap 2 here, as you can see we're still closing up on even more cars in this Grand Prix. Next up on my hit list is Romain Grosjean. And just look at the drive we get at the final hairpin. We're going to have a look round his outside, very close to the wall there, but we managed to thread the needle between him there. And coming down into the final chicane, we're now up into P8 here. But we've got Nico Hulkenberg. We just give him a little bit of a push as we come out the final corner there. He's trying to line up a move on Esteban Gutierrez. We're going to be going 3 wide down towards the turn 1 there. I go purple as we try and break nice and early there, make a little bit of contact with Gutierrez, but we managed to go up the inside of both cars there, and now up into P6 of this Grand Prix here. So, very, very successful opening couple of laps here, but, we're not going to stop pushing until we get into the lead, hopefully, of this Grand Prix. As you can see, one of the cars has an absolutely humongous lead going down into the final chicane there. But we go round the outside of Fernando Alonso there, and now coming down towards the final chicane, just making a little bit of contact with Perez there, but we've lost the back end, and we've somehow managed to just keep it out of the wall there. But we have lost so much time there, the car not even selecting reverse gear there, so not exactly what we wanted in this Grand Prix here. We're going to go for a 5-point turn. As you can see, we're finally now going in the right direction again, and we find myself all the way down in P21 there, with Kevin Magnussen just behind me there, so not what we wanted in this Grand Prix here. Just made a tiny bit of contact with Perez there, and that cost me about 16 positions in this Grand Prix. So, not exactly what we want, but now we're going to try and make us straight away looking, not really reflect on what's happened and more try and focus on the rest of this Grand Prix. Still got 31 laps to go, and we're going to start straight away. We're going at the inside of Pascal Wehrlein, but even that we can't even do right. And unfortunately, make a little bit of contact with him. Pascal Wehrlein ends up getting spun around there as he does make contact with Kevin Magnussen's car there. But, so far this race, it's been very up and down. There's been a lot of overtaking, I think we can all safely agree here. But now moving on to the end of lap 4 here. We're now right behind Sebastian Vettel as we come down towards the final chicane here. Once again, the drive at the hairpin is absolutely incredible in this Toro Rosso. We're going to have a look at the inside of Sebastian Vettel there, and we just go for Felipe Nasr there as well. So we make 2 overtakes there into the final chicane there, and now we're looking to try and line up a move on Jolyon Palmer here. We're going to try and look around the outside down towards turn 1 there, just getting the front end alongside him there, and coming out in towards turn 1 there. We go round his outside, round the outside of Rio Haryanto and Valtteri Bottas there. So around the outside of 3 cars down towards turn 1 there. That was quite a ridiculous move. And we're not done yet as we get very, very good run on Felipe Massa. Then nearly lose the back end as we come now into the first chicane there. And we go up the inside of Felipe Massa there, straight back up into P14 there. But a triple overtake around the outside there. We can't really complain about that on lap 5 of this Grand Prix. So, it's still looking like we can be able to make our way back through the field here. We've still got some very, very good pace in this race here. But, next up on my hit list will be Jenson Button here. As you can see now, closing in on him down towards the hairpin. On that 5 here, we're going to have a look up the inside of him into the hairpin here. And we're also going to go up the inside of Marcus Ericsson there. Nearly make contact with him as Jenson Button tries to go back down the inside of me there. But we do move now up into P12 of this Grand Prix here. So, we're still making our way back through the field. There are 8 positions in 2 laps. It's not exactly looking too bad. But now, as you can see, on the end of lap 6 here, we're basically now at the crossover point between the wets and the intermediates tyres here. But, we're going to try and stay out for one more lap here, try and make up as many positions as we possibly can as we go down towards turn 1 here. We go over to P4 for a very short period of time there, but unfortunately for me, Max Verstappen there, who I think was leading this Grand Prix at this moment in time, is going to be able to hold on to P4 there as we now move up into P5 of the Canadian Grand Prix. But now moving on to the end of lap 7 here, this is when we opted to come into the pit lane. They're nailing the pit entrance as we come into the pit lane, and it's just going to see how many positions we have lost overall though, because it was kind of a 3-lap overlay where both tyres were basically at equal pace here. I decided I'd go for as long as we possibly could, hoping to stay on these intermediates for as little time as we can. I'm not really too sure how quickly the track will try out here, so we're going to try and stay on this set of tyres for as long as we can. But coming down out of the pit lane now, and we're going to be up into P11 now of this Grand Prix, so we have made up one more position there on Jenson Button, I think that is. No, sorry, we'd already got past him. So not too sure who we've actually made the position, the overtake on there. But, we're now up into P11 of this Grand Prix. And now moving on to the end of lap 9 here. I'm going to look up the inside of Romain Grosjean into the final chicane here. Very, very textbook move. Just getting both curves there absolutely nailed as we go right up to the wall on the exit of the final chicane there. Next to the wall of champions there. But now, next up on my hit list is my teammate Danny Kvyat there. As we go purple. We think about going for a move into turn 1 there, but we back out of it very, very early there. We don't want to make contact with my teammate here in this Grand Prix. We just want to try and get past as many cars as we possibly can, as quickly as we can in this Grand Prix here. But now, as you can see, coming into the second chicane here. We do trim that corner a little bit there, and now we've got a very, very good run on my teammate there, Danny Kvyat there. Are we going to be able to look up the inside into the second chicane there? We think about it, but once again, we have to back out of that move there, and unfortunately, we're not going to be able to get back past my teammate there of Danny Kvyat now, but the safety car has been deployed there. No idea what that is all about there, guys. You know, I'm not really complaining about that. There was actually no retirements or anything there. No yellow flags. So we've seen an incident like we saw at Canada Monaco last time out. But I decided, you know, we gamble it here. You know, the engineer was telling me the track is, meant to dry out within the next 5 minutes here. So, you know, I gambled it and decided we go onto a set of these soft tyres here, you know, hoping that we could then end the safety car session on a set of the dry tyres here, on a very much dry track. But, you know, it's going to be a very, very big gamble in this race. You can see coming out the pit lane now, and fortunately, we're only going to lose out on one position here, and we're going to be able to hold on to P12 now, right behind Jensen Button in this race here. But, you know, it's a very, very big gamble for myself here, and hoping, you know, it pays off. But you can now just see on the end of lap 12 here, I think, or lap 13 even, and, well, let's be fair, it hasn't really worked out for me. I won't lie, guys. I've got to cut to the chase here. See, the yellow flags are coming back in, and we're going to try and get a run on Jensen Button here. We're going to try and time it to perfection there, and unfortunately just missed out by half a second there. Lewis Hamilton now is going to throw it up my inside. They go for a very, very late dive bomb on myself and Jensen Button there, so we're actually going to be able to hold on to P12 there, guys, but the tyres, they just had nowhere near enough grip. I was hoping the track would dry it far quicker than it did, unfortunately. You can see, coming down into turn 1 here, how much earlier than Lewis Hamilton we are going to have to brake, and how much steering up we're having to put in to try and get the car turned in into turn 1 and turn 2 there. So, you know, not exactly what we wanted. And by the end of lap 14 here, you know, Jensen Button has already managed to get back through, and Ria Haryanto is having a look around my outside into the final chicane. Now, unfortunately for him, we had the slipstream of Jensen Button there, so we're going to be able to hold it up the inside into the final chicane there. But we cut the final chicane slightly, and we get a 3-second time penalty for that, just based on the fact we just didn't have enough grip. But Ria Haryanto now is not willing to give up. He's going to try and look up my inside in towards turn 1 there. We are the late breaker there. Go round his outside there, but Rio Haryanto refusing to give up once again. And he's going to go round my outside at the hairpin there. And we've made contact with him, and we're in the wall. And that's our front wing completely gone there. You know, we've oranged one side of it there. So we're going to have to come in for another pit stop in this Grand Prix. Back down into P21. Make that P22 as Jolyon Palmer now goes past me there. And that is just not what we wanted here. But now on the end of lap 15 here, we're going to come in, we're going to go back onto a set of the intermediate tyres there and go for a front wing change there. So, you know, our soft tyre gamble just did not pay off here. You know, I was hoping we could see a dramatic, you know, change of events there, but unfortunately for me, Rio Haryanto makes an absolutely incredible move around my outside there, but unfortunately for him, you know, he makes a little bit of contact with me on the exit there. And now on the end of lap 18 here, I think that is, we're going to have to come back in for a set of the dry tyres now. See, everyone else has made the switch over once again. So, you know, this race has gone from bad to worse here, I won't lie, guys. You know, there's very little chance that we could be scoring points here unless we get a really well-timed safety car in the later stages of this Grand Prix, you know. But this race, just everything went wrong for me. But let's just have a look at the race director. I was hoping a lot of drivers did opt to go for another pit stop in the closing phases of this Grand Prix, but near enough nobody opted with that. Lewis Hamilton and Jensen Button actually opted to go on a set of the super softs there, as well as a couple of other drivers there. But, you know, this race, just there seems to be nothing we can do about it. But now on lap 26, Sergio Perez is out of this Grand Prix, and there has now been another safety car in this race. So maybe, you know, it's not looking as bad as I thought it would be. Let's have a look then. What happened to Sergio Perez here? Based on where he crashed, it's looking like it's going to be an engine failure. But, you know, we'll have to wait and see. As you can see, coming down, unfortunately we do skip past his car there, but just having to rewind back a bit. And we do now find Sergio Perez's car there. Not as bad as my replay skills at the Monaco Grand Prix last time out there, guys. But just have a look. Sergio Perez there, just the engine does fade away. The second time I think that's happened to him this season, after he also had an engine failure at Australia there. But now coming on into the pit lane here at the end of lap 26 here, we're going to gamble. We're going to go onto a set of the the ultra soft tyres here for the final 9 laps of this Grand Prix. We go for another front wing change. I think that's my 4th front wing of the day. Maybe it might be only my 3rd, but, you know, we're going to try and, we're going to be having a race out of the pit lane here as Kevin Magnussen jumps past me there. Are we going to be able to hold it around his outside, down towards turn 1 here? We try and brake as late as we possibly can, but Magnussen just gets the car ahead of me there. And unfortunately, you know, we've got a legal overtake on that, which, unfortunately, I didn't realise this at the time, but that's going to cost me a lot more time than I thought it would do in this Grand Prix, guys, because unfortunately the safety car will be coming in, I think, at the end of lap 29 here. So that meant being stuck behind Magnussen, we couldn't push as hard as we wanted to. And unfortunately, that means by the end of the safety car restart, we're still going to be a few seconds behind the cars there. But the safety car taking a swipe at me there, as we were just ahead of Nico Rosberg, there, who was in the lead of this Grand Prix. So, it could have gone even worse for me there. I could have been lapped, be behind the safety car and a lapped car there. But unfortunately, scheme now, as I was saying, guys, the safety car is coming in at the end of this lap. Myself and Magnussen still trying to push to catch up here. But, we're going to try and go for a move on Magnussen there as we come down towards the hairpin. Then we nail that safety car restart there, make a little bit of contact with him. But my frustration, I just chop in a little bit on Magnussen there into the hairpin there. Not exactly what we wanted, but we now are still miles behind the rest of the field here. If we push for these final few laps, maybe we might be able to catch up a couple of cars here. And now moving on to lap 35, like I said there, guys, we're going to be able to catch up to Jolyon Palmer here. And are we going to be able to make a move on him down in towards the hairpin? We made a move on his teammate here, but we're going to switch back. And we're going to go down the inside into the hairpin there. And even that move, we couldn't get right there as Jolyon Palmer turns in on me there. And we do now move up into P18 of the Grand Prix here now. But now moving on to the final lap of the Grand Prix here. Now we're up to P16 now. Daniel Ricciardo takes the race win there. So he's going to be able to close in massively on the front three in this season. But coming now down into the final chicane here. We're going to absolutely abuse the final chicane track limits there. And now we're going to be able to make a few more positions up towards the line there. But we've run out of fuel. We've been tagged by a couple of cars. And we finished the race backwards. And I think that kind of sums up our day there, guys. Not exactly, it's just a horrible, horrible race weekend on the front of it. There are a lot of action during this Grand Prix. But unfortunately for me, guys, it's just going to be one of those days when nothing goes right for me. And, not exactly very happy with the results there. Daniel Ricciardo, though, takes the race win for Red Bull there after a very, very strong race weekend for him. Both Red Bull cars actually get on the podium there, as well as Nico Rosberg there, who is the other car there. So, Lewis Hamilton, even if he has jumped me, he'll only be by 2 points at most here. Esteban Gutierrez, though, very, very happy with an 8th place there for him in this Grand Prix. But just have a look then at the overall standings there. Daniel Ricciardo takes the win ahead of Nico Rosberg and Max Verstappen, guys. But, just as I said, guys, that whole race weekend, it just didn't go as well as I'd hoped. We saw the highs of Monaco there, where we lapped everyone. After a brilliant high like that, usually it results in an almighty low there. But, we've been nearly lapped in that Grand Prix. We had so many crashes, so many pit stops, and it just wasn't going to be our day here, guys, today. We really wanted to maintain the momentum. But, moving on into the next race at Baku here for the European Grand Prix, it should hopefully be a bit better for myself. But Lewis Hamilton ends up with 5th place there, just behind Kimi Räikkönen there. So we're going to be tied on points with him there. My teammate Danny Kvyat gets a very well-earned, deserved 6th place there in that Grand Prix, ahead of Fernando Alonso, Esteban Gutierrez. Sebastian Vettel goes from 19th to 9th there in that Grand Prix, and Romain Grosjean rounds out the points. So Jensen Button just missing out there. But, a very, very interesting race. It'll look like the championship overall will be very, very close at the top here, So Lewis Hamilton and I will definitely be tied on points. It's going to be interesting to see who is up in P3 there. But just have a look then. Let's scroll down further on down the grid. Obviously, we saw myself. I think we were down in P19 there after we ended up getting a second penalty at the final corner there, down towards the finish line. But, Red Bull will be very, very happy. They've managed to take another win in this season. I think they took one at Canada. Not at Canada, at Spain earlier on in the season. Obviously, we took the win at Monaco last time out. But Kevin Magnussen and Marcus Ericsson were the only two drivers to finish behind me there. Marcus Ericsson was actually near enough a lap down to everyone in the field there, as he got a really badly timed safety car there. Sergio Perez being the only retirement in that Grand Prix. We got beat by Jolyon Palmer and Pascal Wehrlein there, and we're actually tied now with Lewis Hamilton in the standings there with a 3-way tie for third place. They're on 70 points there, so we've got a 15-point lead, I think that is, over the next 3 cars behind me there. Both Red Bulls and Sebastian Vettel tied on 70 points there. So, it's looking very, very interesting at the moment there. But, I'm still a bit disappointed with that race overall there, guys. But, Lewis Hamilton manages to make the strategy work for him there. If we hadn't taken so many risks, we could have been looking for a very, very strong race there in the end. But, sometimes you want to take risks in these races, and sometimes, obviously, they do not work out there, guys. But, hopefully, still, you have enjoyed this video. A very, very action-packed race here. Unfortunately, obviously, it was bad action for myself there in the end. But just having a look now at the Constructors' standings, and we've now been relegated all the way down to P4 there after Red Bull with that very, very strong 40 points there. But, it's still looking very, very tight between the top 4 teams in the Constructors' standings as well, though, guys. Maybe, if we get good form in the second half of the season, maybe we can potentially take both championships there. We can just see, having a look at the R&D points, we're going to get an extra 67 points there at the end of that session. So hopefully, we should be able to get an upgrade on the card ready for the next race weekend there, guys. 67 points there takes up to 957 overall, and that should be enough for the monkey seat, I think, upgrade that we spoke about at the start of the weekend there, guys. We get a few more R&D for the other for being the first driver there, so we have just over 1,000 points there in the end. But having a look at the career rivalry there, and Max Verstappen edges me out in the first sector by 1,000th of a second there, so hoping, overall that doesn't end up costing me anything. And unfortunately, we're now down into the green of the driver there. Looking at the career score as well, we just skipped through that. But hopefully you guys have enjoyed this video. Anyway, guys, don't forget to like, subscribe, ready for the European Grand Prix next time out. And I will see you guys next time.
So promise that you'll catch me.